So the Goodreads Choice Awards nominees long list was announced. I don't get too hung up on the Goodreads Choice Awards list because usually the books that I enjoyed for the year usually don't make it on this list. So I don't get too hung up on it. I do think it's something fun. It's something to, build community around, talk about all that stuff. Now, I am not in the ministry of finding a list that a romance list, a mystery list, a thriller, whatever list, and reading every book in the category. That is just not me. I'm not taking away from the girls who do want to do that. That's simply just not me. For me, I'm only going to read books that I was already interested in. So I decided to go through each category and see if I owned a book in each category. And if I did, that is the book I'm going to read. But it has to be a book I already own or already have my eye on. There's 2 books I already have on hold at my library that I am going to read. And then the rest I already own. So I did not spend any money to make this video. I already own these books, and 2 books I'm going to get because I already had them on hold. So we are going to read books from these 6 categories. And then in the next video that I post, the next vlog, we're going to read books from 5 more categories after that, because I thought this list, the Goodreads Choice Awards nominees, would be a good way for me to eat through some of my TBR, get to some books either I didn't think I was going to get to before the end of the year, or get to some books I've been wanting to get to by the end of the year. So that is what I'm going to do, because I'm not about to read all of one list. I'm not doing that. I feel like if I didn't already have my eye on you, why would I go pick you up? I'm not in the business of reading books I didn't want to read in the first place. So I'm going to tell you the books that we're going to be reading, and then we will get on into the vlog, and then I'll come back sitting right here and we'll discuss what happened in my vlog. I've already read the books at this point. You'll see at the end of the video, I'm sitting right back here. I already read the books. I already know my thoughts. I already know how it goes, but leave some mystery. So the first book that we're going to read in this vlog is The Violin Conspiracy by Brendan Slocum. This is in the thriller mystery category, and I already had this book. Did I have to dig it out? Yes, I forgot I had this book, but I said, I think I own this book. I dug it out, and here it is. We're going to read this for the mystery thriller category. The next book that we are going to read is in the romance category. I think the romance category this year is Ragga Tea, but I did see Mia Sosa Wedding Crashes. I checked it out from the library, and it is right here. So for the romance category, we're going to read some Mia Sosa. Mia Sosa wrote The Worst Best Man, which I read earlier this year. The next book that we are going to read is going to be in the young adult section, and it is Ophelia After All. I have been wanting to read Ophelia After All for a while, and this is my time. We'll be reading Ophelia After All. The next book that we are going to read is in the fiction category, and it is Notes on an Execution by Dania Kakafka. I have been wanting to read this book. Book is on, I made a list of all the books I want to get to by the end of the year, and this book is on it, so it's perfect. We're reading this for fiction. The next book that we are going to read is going to be for debut novel, the category for debut novel, and that is Jackal by Aaron E. Adams. I checked this out from the library as well, and we're going to get to it. And then last for horror, we are going to try to read Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. This is for the horror category, not to be confused with the mystery thriller category. So those are the books that we are going to read. Let's see if I can hold them all up. Those are the books that we are going to read. And yeah, let's get on into the vlog. Guys, I want to come on here and give you guys my initial, I'm almost done with the book. Not almost, but halfway done with the book. The Violin Conspiracy. Okay, so let me tell you what the book is about. Then I'll give you guys my thoughts. So this book follows a boy. He is from a lower middle class family, and he wants to be a violinist. He's really good at playing the violin, but he doesn't really have a violin that he can use. He he tries to play the violin. He does little odd jobs here and there, but no one really in his family is supportive of him wanting to be a musician when he grows up. So no one really pours any money into him. There is no money in the family. His mother wants him to go and get a job so that he can support the family. He's in high school. But he doesn't want to do that. He wants to be a violinist, hopefully to one day go to a music school, get a scholarship or something like that. So he's doing little odd jobs, all this stuff, but he needs a violin on his own. So one day he's at his grandmother's house, and his grandma's like, well, your granddad left you a fiddle. Like, there was a fiddle and he left you a fiddle. And he's like, okay, I don't really want to play some old raggedy ass violin, but I guess. So he goes to get the violin. The violin is in bad shape, but he's like, I can get the violin fixed. And maybe it can work. So he gets the violin fixed, and lo and behold, this violin is worth millions of dollars. And now he's using this violin because now there's this prestigious violin and everybody wants a piece of it. He ends up getting a scholarship and going off to music school. Okay, that's in one timeline, but we also have a timeline where that very violin has been stolen from him. He was going off to do a competition and someone stole his violin. So we are dealing with two timelines where we are learning about the history of this violin, how this violin came to be in his possession, and also this like current timeline, this modern timeline where his violin has been stolen and he's trying to figure out why that is. This book is in the mystery thriller section, and it shouldn't be. This is not mystery thrillerish. Like, I guess it's a mystery because you want to know who stole the violin, but like, other than that, is it really a mystery? Like, I don't know. It's just not that. It almost feels more historical fiction, if anything. How am I feeling about this book? I'm bored. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just really bored. I don't really like the past storyline, the storyline about how the violin came to be. I have a theory that I haven't quite proven right or wrong yet. I don't like books about musicians, singing, all of that, songwriting. I don't like books like that, and I think we're once again proving my theory might be correct. So it's boring. If someone said, gun to your head, can you rate the book now, I'd rate it 3 stars, because it's not like offensive. It's not offensive. It's well written, but is it for me? I think this book is going to go on the it's not for me scale when it's all said and done. Also, I think I know who did it. After I read it, I'll let you know if I'm right about who's the person who has the violin. But I see it, and maybe that's just because this isn't a real mystery thriller. Like, it's so easy to see who has the damn violin because this book isn't like trying to like hide it. Like, it's not doing all the things that a mystery thriller would do to hide who the person is, because it's not a real mystery thriller. Okay, you guys, I want to come and give you my final thoughts on what's on my face. My final thoughts on the Violin Conspiracy. I'm going to give this book 3 out of 5 stars. The person who I thought stole the violin. Look at me. I guessed right. I saw it from a mile away. Here is the thing why this book is getting 3 out of 5 stars. Number 1, I just found it boring. I don't care about books about music, none of that. And you want to know what? You guys know I am an advocate for like Black traumatic experiences being documented. I have no problem with talking about police brutality, talking about family trauma, slavery. I have no problem with that. I think those stories are oh so important, and I don't mind reading it. I don't mind reading a story about Black hardship. I feel like this book had too much. We got 2 police brutality scenes that I just had to like skim through because I felt like the point was already achieved. This book wanted us to constantly know that our main character was going through a lot of racism, and like he was an outsider and he was cast out by society, and people just saw him as like an ignorant Black boy and he can't like the violin. And so like they gave us so many moments of him dealing with all sorts of like racism and trauma and all of that stuff, to the point where it was just like it became so insufferable to read. Like, I don't want like the 2 cop scenes, like it was just a lot, and they were it just left a bad taste in my mouth, and it just wasn't an enjoyable reading experience when it came to those things. What I liked about this book, I actually liked the mystery of who stole the violin. Like, I really, really did. Spoiler, this is a spoiler. If you read it, don't listen. I wish he would have won the competition. The thing about me is, I think when characters are in competitions or stuff like that in books and the character has been through a lot of stuff, I like for them to win the competitions. Like, I like for them, like, I like the characters to have that moment. A lot of times people don't do it in books because they're like, oh, I want it to be realistic. Like, no, I wanted our main character win his violin competition. I did. I wanted him to have that because of all the bullshit this put him through. It wasn't bullshit like Ace of Spades last year, which was just like bullshit on top of bullshit on top of trauma for the sake of that. But I do feel like sometimes books like this like to do this thing where they're like, ooh, I want, you know, white people who read this to really see how we get treated. And so it's just like so heavy-handed. And I feel like it resonates with white audiences. Maybe that's why this book has such a high rating. It resonates with white audiences because they're like, oh my gosh, is this really how black people are treated? But then when a black person like me reads it, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. Because I get it. You don't have to give me the message. I get it. I know how black people treated in this country. I'm a black person in this country, you know. And so it's just a lot. So I am going to give this book 3 stars. I was hoping it was a winner. I had it tucked away because I just wasn't going to read it this year. It didn't. I bought it because it sparked joy, but it didn't spark joy in me to read it now. But I dug it out and I read it, but it just didn't quite hit it for me. Anyways, we are going to move on to Mia Sosa's Wedding Crasher. We'll read some romance next, and yeah, I will see you guys in those clips. Good morning, you guys. Well, it's not morning. It ain't morning here, or probably morning when y'all watching this, but I am about to head off to the library. I have some library books to pick up. I have to pick up the books for this vlog. I have shit in my hair, but that's just how it's gonna be. I have my library tote, and I am about to hit the road. Yeah, I just wanted to come in here and say, so the books that I'm picking up is Jackal for this video and Wedding Crashers by Mia Sosa. I have my tote because I actually have a lot of books that have come off of hold that I need to pick up, and I'm not lugging all them books back to my car. So I am going to go pick those things up, and I will come back and we will start Wedding Crashers once I go get those, okay? Peace. Hey you guys, so I'm back from the library. I showed you a little clip of me checking out, and I have all my library books. So I have the books that we're gonna read in this video, but I also checked out a couple more because yeah, I might do a library vlog the first week of December and just read some of my library books before they'll be due. So I'll show you the books for this video, obviously. So let me take all the paper out of them. Okay, so the first book we have is Wedding Crasher. Yeah, the first book we have is Wedding Crasher. This is the first book we're gonna be reading from this. Well, not the first book. We already read The Violin Conspiracy, right? So this is the second book we're gonna be reading from this. I also already started Ophelia After All, but we'll talk about that in the Ophelia After All clips. But yeah, we'll be reading Wedding Crashers, and then I also got my hands on Jackal, which is so exciting. Whoever had this book before me kept this book for so goddamn long, but I finally got my hands on it, and so it's here. I think I want to do some reading sprints. I've never done reading sprints on my channel. How many pages is this? This book is just about 300 pages, therefore I could read this in like 3 hours, 3-4 hours. I think I'm gonna do some reading sprints with this tomorrow. And then, so those are the 2 books for the video that we are going to be reading. Let me show you some other stuff I got. I got 3 other books. The Younger Wife. I I thought about buying this book myself, but I said I'm not the younger wife. I will be reading Then Jar of Hearts. I will be reading and A Good Find, Sign Here. I got Sign Here. I know somebody else also had this book for a really long time and I got my hands on it. You see how, guys, I'm being better? Usually when someone has a book that I want to read, checked out at the library, I just go ahead and get it myself because I'm a girl who don't like to wait. But look at me, I am reading it. Okay, so yeah, but these are for another day, another time, probably in December. I am going to get started on Wedding Crashers, and I will give you guys my initial thoughts on Wedding Crasher by Mia Sosa. Guys, I just think me and Mia Sosa don't get each other, and maybe that is just what our relationship is going to be. We just simply don't understand one another because I am not enjoying this book. No, I'm not greatly enjoying this book. I'm not in a rush to read this book, if that makes any sense. Let me tell you what this book is about. So in this book, we are following a girl named Solange, and she is working a wedding because if you remember The Worst Best Man, our main character, I believe she like hosted weddings. She hosted weddings and somehow she knows Solange, like they're friends or they're cousins or they something. Anyway, and basically she gets some information that the bride at this wedding does not want to get married to the groom. She has feelings for the best man. And so she's like, you know what? I am going to crash this wedding. People should only get married to who they love. And I don't want her to waste her time with a man she doesn't like. And I don't want the man to waste his time with a woman who doesn't want her. So she crashes the wedding. And everyone's irate and da-da-da. But the groom is not upset about his wedding being crashed because the wedding was already like a marriage of convenience and less of this love bond that two people are entering into, therefore getting married. So he's like, you kind of just ruined my plans because like I wanted to be married. Like even if she didn't like me, I wanted to be married. Like this was my goal. Like we planned this. Like this was not about love. This was the fact that we both wanted to be married at a certain time. Therefore we're going to be together. And so anyways, both of these two people have fake dating scenarios going on. We have our main guy. He wants to move up at his law firm. And so in order to do that, he has to take on a big client. But they want the client to think like he has a settled life. And if they come here, they can have a settled life. And so he's like, I need a girlfriend. Because he's worried that because everyone has found out his fiance has left him at the altar, they'll think he's like too like loose, you know, he had too much stuff going on. So he's like, actually, I have a girlfriend. And so he remembers Solange from the wedding. He's like, I'm gonna ask Solange because it's in DC. She lives in DC. It's a whole thing. And then you have Solange. Solange is like the you're never gonna get married person of her family. And she's like, her mom lies and says that her daughter actually has a boyfriend because she's getting sick and tired of the aunties and the cousins acting like her daughter can't keep a man. So she's like, actually, she has a man. So the family decided to concoct this whole fake dating thing just so they don't have to come clean that she actually don't have a man. Well, this is perfect because now our guy needs a girl for his job to fake date and she needs a guy for her family to fake date. And that starts this whole fake dating situation. I'm annoyed. Number one, Solange crashing the wedding annoyed me. Like, mind your fucking business, girl. Like, mind your fucking business. And like, here is the thing. Fake dating situations are supposed to be stupid. You're here for the ride. You're here for the stupidity of it all. But like, I feel like the guy's reason for searching out Solange just seems so far-fetched. Like, of all the people you could fake date, you're like the girl who crashed my wedding. Like, I don't know. It would be better if they like knew one another. Maybe I could allow it, but it just seems so far-fetched. But anyway, I'm actually a good chunk of the way through with this book, so I'll continue to go on about my gripes about this book. they're like together. You want to know what? I am going to be honest with you. There is a good scene where they accidentally go to this sex party, and I really wish that would have been our first sex scene of the book, because like that would have I did like that scene. Certain moments in this book are good. It's just like we're stretching this out. Like we're stretching this out. Like y'all can just be together. Like y'all can kind of just be together. Like what's stopping y'all from just being, y'all know I'm gonna blame myself, because I don't like fake dating story. I love fake dating in young adult. I hate fake dating in adult books. I've said it many times. So I'm just gonna blame myself for like, I didn't realize this was fake dating. I just picked it up because it was on the Goodreads list and I had my eye on it. I never read the synopsis. And like, if I knew it was fake dating, I probably would have, like, this the thing about this book, like, what am I supposed to take from this book? Like, it's not doing anything new or interesting, you know? Like, it's not subverting the tropes. It's not giving me interesting characters I haven't seen before. Like, if you like books like this will fall right in line with that. But is this gonna be your favorite book of the fake dating trope type books? Like no, it's not. Or maybe it is, I don't know. But like, I don't know. I've read good romance books this year, so I know there can be good this just isn't. Like this, it is not bad. It's not anything I want to be like, oh God, but it's like, it's a 3. The same thing I thought The Worst Best Man was a 3. Like me and Mia Sosa just do not get one another. I don't get the joy people get from Mia Sosa books, or at least I only read 2. I don't get it. So I'm gonna finish this and then I'll come back with my 3-star review, which is obviously gonna be like, I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. I just realized I never gave you guys an update on Wedding Crashers. Oh my gosh, 3 out of 5 stars, and like solid 3 out of 5 stars. This was not for me. It got like towards the last 80% of this book, they was just having sex and carrying on. Like there was just no reason for us to still be here anymore. The sex scenes were not good to me, except for that initial one where they were at the sex party, and they didn't even have sex in that scene. This did not work for me. They was doing a whole bunch of nothing in this book. They could have started dating about a 50% mark and no one would have gave a damn. I'm out of breath because I came upstairs because I realized I didn't give y'all this final clip. So 3 out of 5 stars. I feel better about unhauling The Worst Best Man. It's been sitting on my shelf. I didn't want to unhaul it, but I will be unhauling this book. So I'm just going to put it down there in my unhaul pile. And I'm taking this back to the library. And yeah, me and Mia Sosa, we're good. We're good. We don't need to hear from each other ever again. Like, unless someone really says they love a Mia Sosa book, which a lot of people say they like Mia Sosa, I won't be picking up no more. Like, this wasn't for me. I want to come on here and give you guys my thoughts on Ophelia After All before I finish it. I'm halfway done with Ophelia After All, and this is a quick synopsis I can give you. It's a quick, so we are pretty much following this girl named Ophelia. This is a young adult book, by the way, and we are following Ophelia. She is a senior in high school, and she is dealing with all the things that people deal with as a senior in high school. She has a group of friends, she has boys, she has girls, and basically we're just dealing with their relationship and all of that. But at the root of the story is this queer LGBTQ story about this girl trying to realize her sexuality, come to terms with her sexuality, and trying to navigate those things that maybe everything she thought she was. She thought she was this straight Cuban American girl. Like, maybe that might not be the case. She's noticing that she is having feelings for other girls around her, and she's trying to deal with that. She's trying to deal with like how to tell her family this, how to tell her friends this, and basically you're just following Ophelia and all of those things. Ophelia likes to grow roses. That's why there's roses on the cover. This book is just really, really good. If you are someone who has someone in your family who is LGBTQ plus, or you yourself are dealing with your own sexuality, or you just want to read about a young adult dealing with sexuality, this book is perfect for that. you're in Ophelia's thoughts and you're hearing all the stuff that she's going through and all that. It's a really good read. It's just a really good read. It's young adult. You guys know I am in my young adult era, so I'm loving it. I do love all the things going on with the friends because it's reminding me of how I was in high school and my senior year of high school and all the things that you thought were so important back then. And like, you just like, it just takes you back to that time where you thought everything was so fucking important, and like it wasn't, but like Ophelia feels like it is. They're like, what color is our cap and gown gonna be? Who's gonna be the senior president? And it's just like, that was just the fun parts of like high school and those last few months of high school. I'm really, really loving it. We have characters, they're also dealing with their own stuff. We're dealing with some homophobia in here. Like, it's all just shaping up to be a really good young adult book about coming into yourself. You know, there's really not much you can say about it. You're just learning about this girl, Ophelia, and her coming into herself as a full young adult. I am very much so enjoying it. This is a really good read. If you have not picked it up yet, you should pick it up. I'm pretty sure I'm going to give this book 4 or 5 stars. I'm leaning 4 right now just because it's like it's not like, I know what a 5-star is for me. It's not like this book is losing any points. I just know how I feel when I read a 5-star book, and this is looking 4.5. But you know what? It could do something that really is just like, no, this is 5 stars. But I am enjoying it. I love this cover. This is probably one of my favorite covers of the year. You want to know what's crazy? I didn't know this book came out this year. I thought this book came out at the end of last year. I did not know this book came out this year. I bought it this year, but I thought I was buying something that already had been out. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. And it's living up to the hype. Ophelia After All. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna finish it and I will come to you with my final thoughts. Let's hope that I come back with a 5-star book, because we have not had one yet. We have not had one yet. So hopefully we get a 5-star out of this. Although I'm very hopeful for our 5-star that we're going to get a couple 5 stars. I think Notes on an Execution could be 5 stars. I think Jackal could be 5 stars. I think this could be 5 stars. I don't think Hidden Pictures is going to get 5. I don't really give horror books 5 stars. Like, it takes a lot for a thriller horror to get 5 stars from me. So I don't know about Hidden Pictures, but I do think the next 3 books, including this, could be 5 stars. So I'm excited. Get your hands on Ophelia After All, because I know I'm going to give it like a rave review at the end. Okay? Hey, you guys. I am going to go ahead and give Ophelia After All 4 out of 5 stars. This is just a beautiful coming of age novel about a young Cuban American girl trying to deal with her identity, all parts of her identity. I love the stories about her friends and the things that they're trying to deal with. I love, well, you want to know what's so crazy? I like certain things in this book like had me thinking about my own life. Like, there were certain stuff about, like, I don't know, just the thoughts about like how you have like so much life left to live, and like this isn't the end. Like, everything feels like the end, but like there's gonna be so many facets of yourself that you've yet to like even see, introduce yourself to, and like, so you don't know who you're gonna be in the future. So it doesn't really, not that it doesn't matter who you are now, but you don't have to obsess over who you are now or the decisions you make now. I don't know, it got kind of deep at the end, and like I felt it. So I am gonna give this book 4 out of 5 stars. Now, I do, like, if I have nothing but glowing things to say, you might wonder why I won't give it 5 stars. I know how it feels to read a 5-star book. All the books that I've given 5 stars this year, I feel something towards it. Like, I instantly want to reread it. I wish there was more pages. I know that feeling, and I don't feel that way about this one. So I know it's 4. Like, it's perfect, but it doesn't move me to that next thing that it takes to be a 5-star read. So much so, I'm doing a video where I'm changing the rankings of a lot of the books that I read this year. And because I have a different idea on like what a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is. Now, my 5 is pretty consistent. I think all the books I gave 5 stars to, I should have given 5 stars to. But I think, like, I'm changing things. Anyway, I thought this book was very well done. It did everything it was supposed to do. It was deep, it was thoughtful, it was just a well-written book, and I think 4 stars is the perfect thing to give this book. One of my favorite covers of the year. I absolutely adore this cover so much. Anyways, we are going to move on to Notes on an Execution. Let me go get it. They're all my books are right here. I explained to you guys, this is like my TBR shelf for like the month. I put all the books like I might get to this month, I'm thinking about getting to this month up here. Anyways, Notes on an Execution. Is this book long? Hello, you guys. We are here to discuss our next book. Let me get high. We are reading Notes on an Execution. As you can see, I'm actually a good chunk of the way through with this book because this book is good as shit. Oh my gosh. So we are following this guy who is on death row, but this book is told in multiple POVs. We have dual POVs as well as dual POVs that work in dual timelines. There might be a name for that. Is there a name for that? I don't know. English major. It's not coming through to me right now, but it's dual POVs and it's dual timelines. And we are basically getting the perspective of everyone affected by this guy who is on death row. Obviously, all these POVs are going to come together to make our narrative. I hate to say it, but every single one of these POVs is interesting as shit. And the reason why I hate to say it is because we're following a detective in this. And y'all know I hate detectives, but the detective POV is good as shit too. This book is just excellent. Like, I'm so sorry. I hate to say it, but yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. So we're basically just following this guy on death row and he's telling us about his life. And then we're getting POVs of other people who know this guy and how their life has been affected by this guy. This is one of those books that like always gets written and always is like really good. It's just one of those books. If you've read one of these type books, like these books always come out like once every like 5-6 years. They're really, everyone loves them because like it just works. Like if you write it well, you tell a good story, it just works. And that's this. Like I don't know if this will be anyone's favorite book of all time. Maybe it will, but like it just works. Like it's just something, it's a good story. You really don't have anything like negative to say about it because like it hits the beats, it's interesting, it gives you a little bit of mystery, it gives you good characters. I think that's what really makes this so strong. The character, everyone we're following in this is just a really strong character and they have a lot of baggage to them. So when you're following them in their timeline, you are really like, you're really interested in it. You're really, you know, the stakes seem high. Everyone's stakes seem high. No character just feels like it's thrown in. It's quick. That's another thing that I appreciate because a lot of times when books like this are written, they're wordy. They're just really wordy. They're really long. This book is quick and to the point. It doesn't seem like it's trying to pull the wool over your eyes, pull the carpet from under you. It just seems like it's telling its story. Here it is and you can go, but it's interesting. I just really, really like it. Even though we have a lot of information about all of our characters, I do still feel like there's mystery as well to each and every one of the characters. Like I'm like, ooh, are you telling the truth? What's going on here? What are we doing here? I love it. I'm absolutely loving it, which I'm very excited about because I knew this vlog wasn't gonna just be 3. Like this book is, Ophelia After All was also excellent, but this book is just really excellent. But I am going to finish it and I will come back and give you guys my final thoughts. I'm using my computer to light up my face so it's not freaking like pitch dark and like it's barely working, but I'm here and I'm loving it. Okay, peace. Hey y'all, I wanted to come and give my final thoughts on Notes on an Execution by Danya Kukafka. I'm gonna give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed the first half of this book. I thought it was literally perfect, excellent, but the ending was just kind of boring to me. I wish I had some elaborate thoughts to give you. I just think like everything that was exciting about the book became like instantly less exciting. Like you read a chapter and you're like, why am I kind of bored? Like I wasn't bored the first like 150 pages, but now I'm kind of bored. And then you keep on reading and you're even more bored. And so like the last part of the book, so I will give the first part of the book a 5 and I will give the second part of the book 3. So we're meeting at a 4. I felt like the ending got a little preachy as well, and I don't know if I necessarily agree with the message that was being preached. Therefore, I don't know if I disagree with it either. I would have to sit with it. This is a book that I am going to sit with for a little bit. I am going to think about it. Like I'm about to take a shower right now and I'm going to think about it a little bit. So it's not like a book that I'll be like instantly forgetting. And I do think it is a really good book. And I think if you're looking for a book to read and you're just like, I want to read something that's interesting, something that'll keep my attention, pick up this book. If you've been wanting to pick up this book, I think you should pick up this book. It just isn't a 5-star. It's a solid 4. Like it's just a solid 4. Like if we take Ophelia After All, like if I read it again, maybe was in a different space, I could see me pushing Ophelia After All to a 5. There's no world in which this would ever be a 5-star book for me. It's just perfectly a 4 for me. So unfortunately, it's only unfortunate that this is a 4 because I had such high hope. I was having so much fun, and I just feel like the tone kind of shifted. The tone shifted a little bit in the second half, and it wasn't as fun. And I know like someone's on death row. I just feel like everything that's like, I just wanted this to be like interesting and a little bit, you know, I don't know. Maybe I was looking for something more speculative and didn't get it, and that's my fault. Like this book did not promise that. This book is in the fiction category of the Goodreads list. So yeah, there's that. So we are moving along in the video. How many books have we read for the video now? 4. We have 2 more books left. Let's see if I can remember what. Okay, so Wedding Crashers was the romance book. That was a flop. That was 3-star. Then we have the Violin Conspiracy, which was 4 thriller. No, not great for that one. And then we had Ophelia After All, which was young adult, really liked it. Then we have Notes on an Execution, also liked, and that was for fiction. So now we can move on to Jackal, which is for the debut novel category. It's also in the thriller category, I think. It's in 2 categories. Or we can move on to Hidden Pictures, which is in the horror category. I'm not in the mood to read a horror book. I'm really not. But am I in the mood to read Jackal too? It's thriller and it's about black girls going missing. So like, if you're not in the mood for like, whatever I come back and say we reading, that's what we reading. I did some like organizing on my bookshelf a little bit. What I actually did was just put everything on my bookshelf, because I got those books right there, but those are my December books, and I'm filming a video with those books right there. And those books, y'all can't see, it's blurry, but those books are always in my window. But I'm filming a book about those videos and they're not going back on my bookshelf. What I did was I took out all the books that like I thought I was going to read by the end of the year, but obviously the end of the year is soon. I can't read all of those books and read some books I want to read in December. And I made a pile, and so next year I am going to like prioritize those, because when I bought those books with the intention to read them like rather quickly, and like I didn't. They sat on my bookshelf, so I took them off the shelves. I prioritized them over there, and I am going to get to those. I don't know if I might just make like one video, because I'm going to make a video about those books so you just know what they are, but I might make one vlog reading some of those, like pick like 4 and read them in a vlog clip. This absolutely terrible angle, but I wanted to come over here and give you guys some more updates. So I don't really have reading updates, but I wanted to tell you guys like what we're gonna be doing next. So last 2 books of the video are Jackal and Hidden Pictures. as you can see, I've started Jackal, so I guess Jackal is where we're going to begin, because I want to at least read Jackal in this video, because this Jackal is kind of what made me like do this video, because I knew I was going to get this book off hold from the library. And if I don't get to hidden pictures in this video, I won't be too upset, because I never actually intended to read hidden pictures by the end of 2022. So if I don't get to this, I don't mind. I think I will, but if I don't. So I read the first 16 pages of Jackal last night, and like, I'm really enjoying it. We're following three people, I guess you can say. We have a girl named Alice, I believe, who ends up getting murdered. Did I make up these names, or is this a name from another book, child? I be getting kind of confused. Yeah, we have a girl named Alice who gets murdered, and her mother is like, how did that happen? Her mother, Tanisha. This was back in 1985, and then they rule her death an accidental death, and the reason why all her organs were gone and she was mangled was because they said it was animals, because she went out into the woods. So we get Alice's perspective as she is lured into the woods and something happens, and then we go into like the present day, which is like 2017, where we are following this girl who is going back to that same town where Alice got something happened to Alice. She is coming for a wedding, I believe. A wedding for her friend. She is a black woman. She is and yeah, she's going back. So that's all I got in 17 pages. Like, I only read 17 pages, but that's what's happening. But obviously, I'm gonna read more and get like the full scope of what's going on in this book. But I just want to let y'all know we're gonna be reading Jackal for this video. And so then I just checked the mailbox and I got some book mail. It's a Fairy Loot box. I actually stopped my Fairy Loot subscription, all transparency, because something about my first Fairy Loot box being Veronica Roth didn't sit right in my spirit. But I think once they send me an invitation for the YA box, that is what I am going to do, because like, and the thing is, I can't unhaul it because I spent too much money on it. So I'm just like, I'm gonna have to fucking read a Veronica Roth book in the year 2022, and it's just like, okay, whatever. So I got my last and final adult Fairy Loot box, and actually I already opened it, so we don't have to sit here and act like I'm shocked and surprised about what it is. I've already opened it. Now this is what I mean by a Fairy Loot book, because that's another thing. The Veronica Roth book also wasn't even cute. Like, the only thing it had was the sprayed edges, but nothing else about this. So we have A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. I've actually heard about this book, which is one thing I'm really excited about. So I have a book that I already heard about, and no, I would have never picked this book up on my own, but like, I'm happy I have it and I will read it. And the biggest thing is, it's actually pretty. The Veronica Roth Poster Girl book wasn't even pretty. Like, it looks like it just was nothing special. This is a book. This is what I spend my coin on. This is absolutely gorgeous. And so this makes me sad that I kind of canceled the adult, because this looks fucking good. Look at this edges. Like, and it's all the way around. Let me go get Poster Girl so y'all don't think I'm just being crazy. This was Poster Girl. This was Poster Girl. Never even heard of it. And this was the outside of Poster Girl. I can go get this from Barnes and Noble. Like, and this is all it had. This is literally the only thing special about it. This isn't nice. This isn't that. Like, it just has nothing special. I mean, I think this map is probably in all the books. So compare this to this. Be serious. Compare this to this. Be serious. Be serious. Be serious. Be serious. Be serious. Like, come on. Come on. So, like, this is what I paid my money for. I don't know what the fuck happened with Poster Girl by Veronica Roth. I was going to buy A Dowry of Blood on my own. I've heard, like, mixed things about it. But I was going to buy A Dowry of Blood on my own. So now I have, like, a cute copy. Poster Girl, I don't know what happened. with this book. This is gonna be, I wish I knew somebody who liked Veronica Roth. I would give this to them as a Christmas gift, because this would make a really cute Christmas gift. But these are my fairy loot. I would no longer be getting adult fairy loots anytime soon, because I just, right now, it's not worth the money for me. But it is exciting to get them in the mail, so I will say that. Maybe I shouldn't have canceled it, but it's like $20, $30 worth. The excitement I get getting them in the mail. Is it $20, $30 worth of excitement? I don't know. Anyways, I want to show you guys that. So I'm gonna read Jackal, drink my coffee, it's watered down. It's been sitting here for like an hour. I have work to do a little bit, so let me finish my work, then I'll get into Jackal, and then I'll come back with some updates, okay? Peace. Hey you guys, I wanted to come on here and update you guys on Jackal. So I've actually completed the entire book. I completed the entire book before I really came and gave you my thoughts. So I am going to tell you what this book is about. So there is this town that is a majority white town, even though in recent years, like it's kind of almost 50-50, but the town is very segregated in many ways. It's like an unspoken segregation. The richer people, who are usually white, live at the top, and the poor people live on the bottom, which is important because the town floods and the black people get flooded out many times. So like there's like that aspect going on. But also in this town, since 1970 or 1980, black girls have been going missing around the same time, like all of the time, and every time their murder gets labeled an accident, and people just basically move on with their life. So we are following this girl in 2017. She is coming back to her old town for a wedding, and basically one of her friend's daughter, she goes missing, and that leads her to try to figure out what is happening to this girl. And is her friend's daughter part of this whole conspiracy to like hurt black girls? Like what is going on with that? So we are following this character as she is trying to figure out where is her friend's daughter, and why are these black girls, why have these black girls gone missing in the past, and are they connected? This book, so that's what this book is about. This is kind of going to get spoilery, so like if you don't want to know nothing else about this book because you're interested and you want to read it, you can like stop right here. But what I'm going to say is I don't feel comfortable rating this book. The reason why that is this book is just simply not for me. I said earlier in the year that I no longer want to read like black thrillery, murdery novels where like the blackness is the thing that is like causing people to be hurt, causing people. I just no longer want to read. Like Jordan Peele might have to pay for his crimes. Like it's not that I don't find them interesting. They've just been done before. They've just been done before. I'm not interested in it. I would much rather read a book like this in a more contemporary type setting. Like I would love to hear like a more like, you know, there's just other ways I would like this story to be told that's not thrillery and mysterious. But I will say, for a book that's like this is done really well. Like this is done really well. I didn't find it nauseating. I didn't find it boring. I didn't like, no, the aspect of how they chose, how Aaron E. Adams chose to tell this story in the way it actually was done really well, but it's just not for me. You know what I'm saying? So I personally want to give this book 3 stars because it's just not a book for me. But I think this book accomplished what it set out to do. So like, am I being fair giving it 3 stars? I don't think so. I think this book is a 4-star book for anyone who 4 to 5 stars for anyone who enjoys this. There's also this like speculative, like horror thing going on as well in this book that also I think is done well. What was done well for me, I love hearing all the stories of the girls who gone missing, the stuff that was going. I thought that was done beautifully. It's just like, did Kenya enjoy this book greatly? No, because I'm never going to enjoy a book like this greatly. But it was done excellently. So where do I go? I think I'm gonna not rate it. I think I'm gonna choose to not rate the book and be like, if this sounds interesting to you, I think this is a well done book. It's just not a book that I personally probably should have picked. Am I always going to pick up a book like this? Yes, because I feel like if I keep trying, it's gonna like, I'm gonna get what I want out of these books, and I never am, but I just feel like if I keep on trying, I am, but I just don't enjoy them. Like, I think this is just a well done book. That's my thoughts. This is a well done book, and I'm gonna leave it there. Game time decision, you guys. I've decided something. I'm not reading Hidden Pictures. I'm not reading Hidden Pictures. I don't want to read Hidden Pictures. I'm not in the mood to read Hidden Pictures. Hidden Pictures is too goddamn long. So I went on the horror list, which the vote ends tomorrow. When y'all are watching it, it ends today, the vote. But maybe it even ends today. I don't even know. We have 2 books we can choose between that's also in the horror category. House of Hunger, Our Wives Under the Sea. I think I'm going to read Our Wives Under the Sea. And here is why. I've wanted to read this book. I love this cover, even though there's another cover that's like, I think the American official cover. But I like this cover. It's absolutely fucking gorgeous. And yeah, I just feel like this is the perfect time. I do have a video I was planning to do next year, judging a book by its cover, like reading books that like I only bought because I thought the cover was sickening, and that was one of these. But like, it's perfect to read now. Hello, you guys. I want to give you guys a quick like what this book is about. Nothing could prepare me for what this book is about. This book follows a lesbian couple who are dealing with the fact that one of the women in the relationship, she is like a ocean exploration type person, and she gets stuck underwater and something is like eating her body. So this book is told in like 3 different perspectives. We have a timeline of when the woman is like stuck under sea. We get her timeline, and we get the wife who's not stuck under sea, her perspective. So we get both of their perspectives, one on a submarine, one at home wondering where her wife is at. Then we get another perspective of when the wife like is no longer under sea and something weird is happening to her body. So it's like three perspectives, 2 timelines, and that is what is going on. How do I feel about this book? I'm really enjoying the story. I want to know what's going on, but something about the writing is a little disingenuous. This book is written like it's trying to come up with a lot of good quotes, like if that makes any sense. Like, you guys know I'm a quote person. I love to pull a quote from the book. There is a quote in this book that goes like, I want to explain her in a way that will make you like her. It was a really good quote, like trying to explain your part. You know, when you're like, you like someone or you have a crush on someone and you try to explain them to someone else in a way that you know will make the person like them, even though maybe it's not like actually how they are. Like you know, it was a good quote. But anyway, this book has a lot of quotes that you're like, this book is trying to be quotey. Like, it's trying to be like, you know, intellectual of the moment. Good quote, you guys. So I need to give you guys my final thoughts on Julia Armfield's Our Wives Under the Sea. I'm going to give this book 4 out of 5 stars. This book worked for me. This book is creepy. This book is bizarre. You want to know what makes this book such a horror book? The thing is, when I'm reading horror, I don't necessarily like obvious horror elements, like scary things. I like human beings acting in a bizarre way, human beings doing things that you don't expect normal human beings to do, say, act, behave. That's what I like, and this book has that. The wife is literally deteriorating in front of our protagonist's eyes, and she's just like acting like it's normal. Like, the most bizarre things are happening to this woman's wife, and she's just like, So yeah, her eyeballs fell out of her face, and it's just like, what is going, like, it was just horrific. Them describing what was going on with the wife was horrific. And then you get the submarine, and that is horrific. And then this idea of the mundane life also being horrific. When she's talking about not being able to pay bills, not being able to go to therapy, people not answering her calls and stuff, that's even horrific because you feel her anxiety. It worked for me. It worked for me as a horror novel. I loved how short this book was. It just made it pack the punch even more. It worked. It was creepy. It was weird. I'm not even sure if I really even understand what happened, but that's how I like my horror books. I like to be a little bit confused. I am giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. I recommend that you read it, and I recommend you get this cover of it. It worked. So anyways, that's the end of the video. Hello, you guys. This is the end of the video. So we completed all 6 books we set out to read. We did switch out one. We switched out Hidden Pictures for Our Wives Under the Sea. And so I want to come back and give my final thoughts. So this is for the Goodreads Choice Awards. So the question is, would I vote for any of these books in their category? We will do it in the order in which they were read. The first book we read was The Violin Conspiracy by Brendan Slocum. This is in the thriller category. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. I stand on that. And no, I would not vote for this book in the thriller mystery category. I believe there are probably better thriller mysteries in that category. So this is a no for me. I would not feel comfortable giving my vote to this because it just wasn't that great to me. The next book that we read was Wedding Crasher by Mia Sosa. This is in the romance category. I would not vote for this book as well. I do think the romance category is absolutely terrible this year, but this book is just 3 out of 5 stars for me. I don't want to read any more Mia Sosa in my lifetime. This one just did not work for me, and so no, I would not vote for this one either. The next book that we read was Ophelia After All. This book 100% worked for me. I would vote for this book in the young adult category. The book that I personally am going to vote for if I were to vote is Tiffany D. Jackson, The Weight of Blood. But this book I would have no problem with winning. This book was excellent. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I literally have nothing to take away from it. It didn't give me that 5-star feeling that a lot of young adult has given me this year, but I enjoyed this book. I recommend this book. This book is by Raquel Marie. I adored this book. Great cover, just gorgeous cover. We move on. The next book that we read was Notes on an Execution for the Fiction category by Daniel Kafka. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I would not vote for this book actually in the fiction category. Gun to my head, if you made me, I would, but I just felt like the last half of this book was kind of boring, and I think there's better fiction. I would have to go look back at the category to see what I personally would vote for, but this one is just a no for me. Well, it's a yes for me. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. But if I had to vote for, I don't feel compelled to vote for this to win. Like, if this doesn't win the fiction category, I'm fine with that, you know? We can move on. The next book that we read was Jackal. This was for the debut novel category. I think this is by Aaron E. Adams. I think for a debut novel, this is absolutely great. But I just do not like stories like this. This is just not my thing, and that's what I'm going to blame it on. So for me personally, I would give this book 3 stars because it's just not up my alley. But I think when it comes to this author writing this story, how well they did with that, I would give it 4 stars. So it's just up to you. Would I vote for it in the debut novel? No, I think there's another book in there I like better than this one in the debut novel, but it's not a bad book. It's sitting at a 3.7, I think, on Goodreads, which is where I think it should be sitting. It just didn't fully work for me, unfortunately. The last book is Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. Just on cover alone, this book is excellent. So this is for the horror category, and I would 100% vote for this book in the horror category. This book, I don't think I fully understand this book. I don't think I fully understand this book, but I appreciate this book. I thought this book was actually like horrific. Like there were moments where I was just like, this is fucking creepy. Like what's going on? I was compelled the whole way. And what I love is that it's a tight book. It's tight. It's not long. I would vote for this in the horror category. So these are the 4 books that we read. How do I feel about this vlog? I'm happy I got through them because these are books that I already own. It feels good to have gotten through them. It feels good to have gotten through them, to be done with them, and I feel good about that. So that's the end of this one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. It's a long one, but I will see you in the next one.